Can Marvel deliver magic in their latest outing, Doctor Strange? Hello everyone, it's me, Ben Almaden, and welcome to the latest edition of Entertainment Zone. I am here today for my review of Marvel's newest blockbuster, Doctor Strange. Now, I need to start off by saying, for those of you who don't know already, I've been reading Marvel comics since, I could read. I've grown up with Marvel. And Doctor Strange has always been one of my favourite characters, and until now he's kind of been a lesser known character to the general public. I had always hoped one day he would get his own film, and I'd always hoped that Benedict Cumberbatch would be the person to play him. Benedict is the person playing him, and I've just got to say, oh my gosh, inspired casting. Literally, he did a phenomenal job. Now, the movie is written by John Spates, C. Robert Cargill, and director Scott Derrickson, and it is very much an origin movie. With a character like Doctor Strange, this was necessary because he has such a rich backstory and origin that you couldn't really gloss over that. There are times in the first act where the pacing sometimes goes a little off because of the amount of backstory and origin, but it's not distracting in any way. For a film that's just under 2 hours, a lot happens in it. It feels a lot longer than it is, but that's not to say it feels slow. It really is a roller coaster movie, so much happens. So as I said, Benedict Cumberbatch plays Dr. Stephen Strange with a very good American accent, actually. And Stephen Strange is a surgeon who finds himself in a car crash that really injures his hands to the point where he can no longer do his job. He travels around the world looking for a cure, but soon comes across the Ancient One, who opens his mind to powers and abilities that he couldn't even begin to comprehend. I've got to say, the Ancient One, as much as I love Strange as a character and Benedict, I thought Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One was phenomenal. I know her casting's been controversial, A, because in the comic books the Ancient One was a man, and B, because of the whitewashing of the character. But let me tell you, Tilda gets it spot on perfectly. And to me, she was just incredible. The film's villain is Caecilius, played by Mads Mikkelsen, and he was just phenomenal. He's a great actor anyway. People who've watched Hannibal will know that. But he is a great actor, and I've met both Benedict. In fact, I've met Benedict a couple of times, and I've met Mads, and both of them were so enthusiastic about this film. And now, having seen it, you can see why. I've got to say, Rachel McAdams did a great job too as Christine Palmer, who is a colleague / romantic interest to Strange. And Chiwetel Ejiofor, I hope I pronounced that right, plays Baron Mordo. And Chiwetel's character has a lot of development through the film and will go on to more in the sequel. Those who have read the comics probably know what I'm talking about. And I can't forget the other Benedict in the film, Benedict Wong, who plays Wong. The film has a very serious tone to it. There's not as much comedy compared to other Marvel films, and especially compared to the likes of Guardians of the Galaxy and Ant-Man. It is a serious film, and there are only a few humorous moments. Some fall flat, some don't. And the majority of these humorous moments come from Wong. I think people are really going to love him. In the comic books, he's like Strange's manservant. In this, he's got a lot more to do, and I loved Wong. I've got to say, you must see the film in 3D. Scott Derrickson, I loved his work as a director. And when I found out he was doing Doctor Strange, I was thrilled, and he hasn't disappointed. The film takes you all over the world, London, Hong Kong, New York, Nepal. Visually, it's just so beautiful. But then we also go into other dimensions, other realms. Obviously, this is introducing the multiverse to Marvel and all the realms of magic. And it's just visually striking. It's so incredible, and the special effects are amazing. And believe me, 3D is the way to see this film. I know I'm an advocate for 3D, but I'm glad to see other reviewers agree with me. 3D is definitely the way to see the movie, and I also think that the special effects benefit from the 3D. I think to see it in 2D, you wouldn't be getting the film realised to its full potential, and the 3D just truly adds to the movie. So without spoiling anything, the film also has a mid-credit scene and a post-credit scene. I would have swapped these scenes around, but I guess that's not really relevant. But worth sticking around for sure. Michael Giacchino, I've got to give a shout out to him too. Another lovely man who I've had the pleasure of meeting, and I love his work. And the score on Doctor Strange is great. It's something that did stand out to me. It was a really cool score. And I just want to quickly go back to Mads Mikkelsen's Caecilius, because people say that Marvel has a villain problem, and to me, Caecilius was a very cool villain. And there's other villains in the movie. I don't want to say too much. We'll go into that in the spoilers. And this film definitely doesn't have a villain problem. Literally, the first scene of this film will suck you in, and you're thrown straight into the story. It's a roller coaster ride. I think Benedict Cumberbatch was amazing. People are really going to love him, and if they don't already, they will now. So where would it rank with Marvel's movies? Quite high. I definitely preferred it to like Ant-Man, Iron Man 2, 3, the Thor movies. I'd still say that Guardians of the Galaxy and Winter Soldier are near the top for me. But then maybe Doctor Strange or Avengers for third spot. This really is an inspired piece of work, and the folks at Marvel have done a great job. So if you haven't seen the movie, be sure to check it out. I would give it a 4.5 out of 5. As I say, there's just a few dud jokes in there, and there's only 1 or 2 moments where the pacing's off, but for the most part it isn't. But 4.5 stars out of 5 for sure. Go and check out this movie. I'm going to go into some spoilers now, so if you have seen the movie, stick around. If you haven't, go and see it, and then feel free to come back and join the discussion with us. Okay, so this is your spoiler warning. Okay, so firstly I want to talk about Doctor Strange's crash. That was a phenomenal stunt, and it was executed so perfectly, and even though I knew it was coming, I wasn't expecting it at the moment it was, and it was done so phenomenally. I loved as well that Dormammu was in the film. Visually, I thought Dormammu was a little disappointing how he looked. That's kind of why I couldn't give it the full 5 stars. That's one of the other little minor gripes I had with the film. But then again, how do you realise a creature like Dormammu? You know, can he be this big flaming head from the comic books? Probably not. But I thought Dormammu was a cool villain, and the way Strange defeats him at the end was very clever indeed. And let's talk about the post-credit scenes. Now, the one at the very end credits I would have put first, because it's obviously setting up Mordo becoming Baron Mordo, who anyone who has read the comics will know is a villain. So seeing Mordo's story continue excites me greatly. But then there's that little mid-credit scene with Doctor Strange meeting with Thor to discuss Loki and the search for Odin. So it's looking like Doctor Strange is going to be a part of Thor Ragnarok. and I can't wait for that. I really, really can't wait for that. That's going to be so cool, and it was great seeing Chris Hemsworth in that scene. And one other spoiler I should probably quickly discuss as well is the fact that the Eye of Agamotto, one of the most iconic parts of Doctor Strange lore, was the Time Stone from the Infinity Stones. I think a lot of us were kind of already expecting this. I was, certainly after Guardians of the Galaxy and the revelation of what the other Infinity Stones were. We already kind of knew. So I was kind of expecting this, but to have it confirmed was so neat, bringing us one step closer to Infinity War and seeing like the Avengers and Doctor Strange and the Guardians of the Galaxy all come together. I can't wait, bring it on. And one other spoiler that I must discuss was the death of the Ancient One. The fact that they kept making a point that she was Sorcerer Supreme and there couldn't be another Sorcerer Supreme, I kind of thought, okay, well that means if Strange is going to become Sorcerer Supreme, you know, she's going to have to go. But when she did die, it was shocking and sad. I've got to say once again, the Ancient One was my favourite character in the movie, and her death really just, devastating. So that's all I really want to say for spoilers in the movie. I don't want to go too much into it. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the film. Let's get a little discussion going. I'd love to know what you thought of the film. And remember guys, for all the latest film reviews and news, you can subscribe to us here on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter at BLMaden, that's at BLMADEN. Entertainment Zone is also on Tumblr at entertainmentzone.tumblr.com. And until next time, see you soon.